J.K. Rowling, the woman who turned pain into magic, an emotional life story. Have you ever felt like life had completely given up on you? Like no matter how hard you tried, nothing seemed to work. Today, I want to tell you the story of a woman who faced heartbreak, rejection, poverty, and depression, but refused to quit. She went from struggling to buy food for her daughter to becoming one of the most successful authors in history. This is the extraordinary story of J.K. Rowling. Joanne Rowling was born on July 31, 1965, in Yate, England. As a little girl, she loved stories more than anything. While other kids spent hours playing outside, Joanne spent countless hours imagining magical worlds and writing little stories for her younger sister. Even then, she dreamed of becoming a writer. But dreams don't always come true overnight. As Joanne grew older, life became much more complicated. Her family faced financial struggles, and one of the biggest heartbreaks came when her mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Watching someone you love slowly lose their health is something no child should have to experience. Through all of it, Joanne kept writing. Writing became her escape. It became the place where she could forget reality for a little while. Then came one ordinary train ride that changed her life forever. In 1990, while traveling from Manchester to London, her train was delayed for hours. With nothing to do, her imagination began to wander. Suddenly, she imagined a skinny boy with messy black hair, round glasses, and a lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. His name was Harry Potter. By the time the train reached London, an entire magical world had started to form inside her mind. She couldn't wait to write it down. But life had other plans. Only a few months later, Joanne's mother passed away. The loss devastated her. She has often said that losing her mother changed the way she wrote Harry Potter. The grief she felt became part of Harry's own story of growing up without parents. Sometimes our deepest pain becomes the heart of our greatest creation. Trying to start over, Joanne moved to Portugal, where she worked as an English teacher. She eventually got married and gave birth to her daughter, Jessica. For a brief moment, it seemed like life was finally getting better. But the happiness didn't last. Her marriage fell apart. She became a single mother. With her young daughter in her arms, Joanne returned to Scotland with very little money and no clear future. Those were some of the hardest years of her life. She relied on government assistance to survive. She often struggled to pay bills. Some days, buying food was a challenge. Many people looked at her and saw failure. But they didn't see what she carried in her bag every day. The unfinished manuscript of Harry Potter. While her baby slept in a stroller beside her, Joanne sat in small cafes, writing page after page. She couldn't afford a private office. She couldn't afford luxury. But she refused to give up on her dream. Writing became her way of believing tomorrow could be better than today. When the manuscript was finally complete, she believed someone would recognize its magic. Instead, publisher after publisher rejected it. One rejection became 5. 5 became 10. 10 became 12. Imagine spending years pouring your heart into a story only to hear, no. Most people would have quit. Joanne didn't. Finally, a small publishing company agreed to read her manuscript. The publisher wasn't immediately convinced. But something incredible happened. The publisher's young daughter picked up the first chapter. She loved it. She begged her father to let her read more. That little girl's excitement helped change literary history forever. In 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was published. At first, only a small number of copies were printed. No one expected what would happen next. Readers fell in love with Harry, Hermione, Ron, Hogwarts, and the magical world Joanne had created. The book spread from one family to another. Children who hated reading suddenly couldn't put the books down. Adults became just as fascinated. Within a few years, Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. The books were translated into dozens of languages. Millions turned into hundreds of millions. Movies followed. Theme parks were built. Entire generations grew up alongside Harry Potter. The single mother who once worried about paying rent had become one of the most successful authors in history. But money wasn't what made her story extraordinary. It was resilience. Joanne never forgot what it felt like to struggle. She donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charities supporting children, single parents, medical research, and people living in poverty. She understood what it meant to need help because she had once needed it herself. Her success never erased her past. It reminded her why kindness matters. When I think about J.K. Rowling's journey, one lesson stands out above all others. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Sometimes, failure is the road that leads to it. If Joanne had listened to the first rejection, the world would never have known Harry Potter. If she had quit after losing hope, millions of readers would never have discovered the magic that changed their childhood. Every no she received was simply preparing her for one unforgettable yes. Today, whenever someone tells me they're afraid to chase a dream because they might fail, I think about Joanne sitting alone in a cafe, writing while her baby slept beside her. No audience, no applause, no guarantee of success, just faith. Faith that her story mattered. And because she believed in it, the rest of the world eventually did too. Maybe that's the message all of us need to hear. Your current situation doesn't define your future. Your failures don't decide your destiny. Your struggles don't erase your potential. Sometimes the darkest chapters of our lives become the beginning of the greatest stories we'll ever tell. J.K. Rowling didn't become extraordinary because life was easy. She became extraordinary because she kept writing when everything around her told her to stop. And maybe your own story is only one page away from changing everything. So whatever dream you're holding onto today, don't let rejection be the final chapter. Keep believing, keep working, keep writing your story, because the next chapter might just be the one that changes your life forever.